Look at your hand. Hold it up in front of you and really look at it. Look at the skin, the fine lines, the structure of the veins beneath the surface. It seems like such an ordinary thing. It is yours. It is defined by the here and now, by the room you are sitting in, by the age you are today. But this is a deception. What you are looking at is not merely biological matter. It is an artifact of ancient history. It is a museum of the cosmos. To understand what that hand is truly made of, we have to leave this room. We have to leave this planet. We have to turn back the clock, past the time of the dinosaurs, past the formation of the Earth, all the way back to the beginning. In the first few minutes after the Big Bang, 13.8 billion years ago, the universe was a very simple place. It was hot, dense, and remarkably boring. As it cooled, it produced only the simplest of elements, hydrogen and helium, with a tiny trace of lithium. That was it. That was the entire inventory of reality. There was no carbon to form the complex chains of life. There was no oxygen to breathe. There was no iron to color blood red. There was no calcium to build bones. If the universe had remained as it was, then it would have been a vast, dark ocean of gas, sterile and empty forever. But gravity is a patient sculptor. Over hundreds of millions of years, gravity began to pull these clouds of hydrogen gas together. The clouds grew denser. The pressure in their centers began to rise. The temperature climbed, and then in the deep dark, a spark was lit. The first stars ignited. These were not stars like our gentle yellow sun. These were monsters. Blue giants, hundreds of times more massive than our sun, burning with a ferocious intensity. It is inside the bellies of these stars that your story truly begins. A star is essentially a giant pressure cooker. In its core, the crushing weight of gravity forces atoms to slam into one another with such violence that they fuse. This is nuclear fusion. It is the alchemy of the heavens. For millions of years, these stars took the simple hydrogen from the Big Bang and crushed it into helium. But when the hydrogen ran out, they didn't stop. They crushed helium into carbon. They crushed carbon into neon, into oxygen, into silicon. Think of the carbon atoms that make up the DNA in every cell of your body. Right now, they are sitting quietly within you, but once they were trapped in the heart of a blue giant, screaming in temperatures of millions of degrees, being forged by the sheer weight of a star pressing down on them. You are made of the ash of that burning fire, but the star can only go so far. It fuses heavier and heavier elements, marching up the periodic table until it creates iron. Iron is the poison pill of a star. Fusing iron absorbs energy rather than releasing it. The fire goes out. The pressure that held the star up against gravity vanishes in an instant. What happens next is the most violent event in the universe, a supernova. The star collapses inward at a quarter of the speed of light, bounces off its own iron core, and explodes outward. It is a blast so bright it can outshine an entire galaxy. And in that explosion, in that fraction of a second of chaotic heat, the rest of the elements are born. The gold in your wedding ring, the iodine in your thyroid, the uranium in the ground, they were all forged in the shockwave of a dying star. And then the star dies. It shreds itself, flinging its insides out into the void. This is where the story becomes quiet again. It is where the story becomes adrift. Imagine the vast, glowing clouds of debris, nebulae expanding into the silence of interstellar space. These clouds are rich with dust. They are rich with the carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen that was just cooked. They drift for eons. They mix with other clouds from other dead stars. The universe becomes a graveyard of stars, but that graveyard is also a garden. This dust wanders through the galaxy for millions, perhaps billions of years. It freezes. It gathers in clumps. It waits. About 4.6 billion years ago, in a quiet corner of the Milky Way, a disturbance, perhaps a shock wave from another distant explosion, pushed one of these dust clouds just enough to make it collapse. The center became our Sunday. The leftovers, the debris that wasn't heavy enough to become the star, began to clump together. Rocks smashed into rocks. Dust gathered into pebbles. The earth formed. It was a molten ball of recycled stellar material. Every mountain, every ocean, every grain of sand was made from the debris of those ancient giants. And as life emerged, it didn't import new materials. It used what was lying around. It took the carbon for structure, the oxygen for energy, the iron for transport. And so we arrive back at you. We often feel separate from the universe. We look up at the night sky and feel small. We feel like observers, standing on a tiny rock looking out at a vast, alien expanse. We talk about space as a place we might go to visit. But this is a fundamental misunderstanding of what you are. You are not in the universe. You are of the universe. You are not a stranger looking at the stars. You are the stars looking at themselves. Every breath you take right now is a ghost story. The oxygen enters your lungs and binds to the hemoglobin in your blood. That iron in the center of the hemoglobin molecule, it was created in the final moments of a dying star's life just before it collapsed. It traveled across thousands of light years of emptiness. It drifted through the cold vacuum for eons. It became part of the Earth's crust, then part of the soil, then part of the food chain, until it found its way to you. It is currently coursing through your veins, keeping you alive. Your heartbeat is powered by the same energy that once shook the galaxy. There is a profound safety in this realization. We worry so much about our isolation. We worry about belonging. We build walls and identities to define who we are. But beneath the surface, beneath the name you call yourself and the job you do, you are simply matter that has woken up. You are a collection of atoms that has been traveling together since the dawn of time. For a brief moment, 70, 80, maybe 90 years, these atoms have come together to form the pattern that is you. They have arranged themselves into a brain that can think, eyes that can see, and a heart that can feel. And when your time here is done, those atoms will not vanish. The law of conservation of mass promises us this. Nothing is truly lost. You will simply unspool. The carbon and the calcium and the iron will return to the cycle. They will become part of the earth, part of the trees, and eventually billions of years from now, when our sun expands and consumes the earth, they will be blown back out into space. They will become a nebula again. They will become part of a new star and perhaps part of a new life form on a planet we can scarcely imagine. There is no need to fear the vastness of the cosmos, because you are the vastness. The distance between you and the star Betelgeuse is not a barrier. It is a relationship. You are kin. The only difference is that the star burns simply to burn, while you burn with the capacity to wonder. Consider the calcium in your teeth. It is white, hard, and static. But it is white dwarf material. It is the remnant of a low-mass star that reached its end. Every time you smile, you are showing the universe a graveyard of ancient suns. Consider the water in your cells, hydrogen and oxygen. The hydrogen is the oldest thing in existence, a direct witness to the Big Bang. The oxygen is a later arrival, a gift from the stellar ovens. In every drop of water in your body, the beginning of time meets the evolution of time. You are holding the history of the universe in a single cell. This perspective shifts the way we deal with our daily struggles. The deadlines, the arguments, the anxieties of modern life, they feel heavy because we view them through the lens of a single isolated lifetime. But zoom out. Look at yourself through the lens of 13.8 billion years. You are a triumph of complexity, for matter to come together against the chaos of entropy. To form a thinking, feeling being is a statistical miracle. You are the universe becoming conscious. You are the mechanism by which the cosmos understands itself. Without you, without your eyes to see the Milky Way, the galaxy is just blind physics. With you, it is beauty. So tonight, when you find yourself alone, do not feel lonely. How can you be lonely when you are made of the same stuff as everything around you? The chair you sit on, the air you breathe, the cat sleeping on the rug, the stars burning in the sky. It is all the same dust, just arranged in different temporary patterns. You are constantly exchanging atoms with your environment. With every breath, you inhale a billion atoms that have been through the lungs of others, through the leaves of ancient forests, through the atmosphere of a young earth. You are fluid. You are a river of matter flowing through the shape of a human being. Let this knowledge settle in your chest. Let it be a weight that anchors you, not a weight that drags you down. The universe is not a cold, dead place. It is a living process, and you are the crest of the wave. You are the current cutting edge of creation. All the billions of years of burning, exploding, cooling, and drifting were necessary to create the moment where you can sit here and listen to this. You are the destination of that long journey. We spend our lives searching for meaning, searching for a connection to something larger than ourselves. We look for it in religion, in love, in success. But the connection is already there. It is written in the atomic code of your body. You don't have to earn your place in the universe. You don't have to prove your worth. You belong here because you are here, and you are made of the universe itself. As we drift through space on this little blue boat, remember your heritage. Remember the fire that forged you. Remember the long, cold sleep of the dust clouds. And remember that no matter what happens in this life, you are eternal in your very substance. You are stardust, briefly taking the shape of a person. You are the cosmos pausing to experience a human life, and when the show is over, you will not end. You will simply go back to the stars, breathe in, feel the oxygen, feel the iron in your blood, feel the ancient hydrogen. You are home. You have always been home.